Sarah's got quite a story to tell. She was a singer and now plays tennis, but she plays wheelchair tennis following an incident which left her less mobile. So we'll hear about Sarah's journey. Sarah Bard, who is a tennis player. Hello.
Hi.
Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Lovely to see you.
Thanks for having me.
And you brought on Duncan McCann as well. He's your coach.
Yes.
Hello, Duncan.
Hello.
Hi. There's quite the story for you to tell because it involves not really setting out to be a tennis player. You were a singer, but now you're a tennis player. So we'll talk about how that happened. And Duncan McCann is your coach. Without wishing to trivialise the situation, but does your wheelchair have special anti-slip properties?
Right.
But
yes.
we can talk about that.
So you have a special chair for playing tennis, a court chair, and that has particular tyres. Duncan being the tyre king, so he secures the tyres for me.
Right. The part of your story is that you sustained an injury, which has led you now to be a wheelchair tennis player, but why aren't you still singing? Could you not still be singing?
When I fell, I had a whole summer of gigs lined up. I was in a folk band at that time, and I went from living a normal, as people would see it, life, driving around, doing my own thing, living independently, to suddenly not being able to leave my house. And it suddenly my whole life was gone, and I just lost all my confidence, and I gradually got some of it back playing wheelchair tennis, but I never kind of took that step. The tennis took over and I never went back to music.
So the change that happened to you, you talked about a fall.
Yeah. I was on my way to my 30th birthday party. I fell down the stairs.
Sorry to interrupt. Would you have been using a disabled exit normally?
I have a disease. It's called hereditary motor sensory neuropathy. And that, I was born with that, and that gets worse as you get older. And it hadn't progressed to the point where it affected me massively, but I was using a stick at the time. I would sort of on and off need a stick. At the time, I'd sprained a bunch of ligaments in one of my feet. So I was using a stick, but they would have healed and I would have gone back to normal. So I would have these kind of sessions of
a fall.
Yeah.
I don't want to take you to memories you don't want to bring up.
No, it is what it is. I was on my way to my 30th birthday party, so I would have used the flat exit. Yeah.
Okay, but you weren't able to on that occasion.
No, it was some football and they'd blocked it up for something or other.
Right, which completely illegal.
Yes, they got into trouble for it.
Oh, right, okay. But you then had to use stairs.
I used the steps, and unfortunately, their banisters finished 2 steps above where the steps finished, and the bottom 2 steps was painted the same colour as the pavement, not as the rest of the steps. So me being in a rush, thinking, I'm going to my party, I stepped out and just went straight down. And because of the injury to my other foot, when I broke my remaining foot, I was then I couldn't walk.
Wow.
Unfortunately, because of the disease that I have, not being able to move is the problem because it's muscle wasting. And so once you stop, you're in trouble and you start losing muscle and all sorts.
But for you at that point, you, as you've explained, lost all your confidence. You didn't want to do anything. You didn't want to go out, didn't you?
Well, it was more so there was shock because I was left quite unsupported. They sent me home without a wheelchair, for example, even though I couldn't walk. There was a lot of not good stuff. I didn't get help with care, so I had friends coming in, and because of the whole messiness and awfulness of how it happened, not being able to walk, my family actually got a wheelchair from the Red Cross, and so because we were kind of we were sort of scratching around to work out how to manage all this stuff, and obviously you feel like a burden, and I didn't have my friends being the support. They were just helping me get jobs done so that I could survive, and so that's very isolating. And the whole thing just ended up with me losing all of my confidence, and then it affects your mental well-being. Yeah.
Just one final thought. You say you didn't really get the treatment you might have hoped for, and no wheelchair and sort of shandy.
Yeah.
Was that because kind of you were only 30 and looked like a sort of fit,
yes,
healthy young woman?
That's been a problem all my life with my disease. You can't see it. Things are dying inside, and there are some signs, but mainly it was my feet that were the problems, which were quite deformed, but in shoes you can't tell.
Who would know? Yeah.
And because I'm smiley and happy, and because that's how you survive. People kind of they don't think you can be in pain if you're smiling.
The smile can tell a lot of lies, I guess. We'll pick up Sarah's story shortly here on BBC Radio Nottingham, and hear how tennis came to her rescue, and how she's now embracing and welcoming all others who wish to get involved in the world of wheelchair tennis. That's to come for you on BBC Radio Nottingham.